Did you know that the safety of infant formula is under scrutiny like never before? With the stakes so high for our youngest, is the system doing enough to protect their health? Now is the time to demand accountability and transparency from those in charge. Stay informed and take action. In a decisive movement by the Food and Drug Administration, under the stewardship of U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., significant strides are being made to bolster the quality, safety, and nutritional adequacy of infant formula across the nation. This initiative comes in response to a troubling history characterized by insufficient regulation and oversight within the infant formula industry. In fact, as far back as 1998, the last major update on infant formula nutrients was completed, a gap that undeniably reflects a broader systemic failure to prioritize the needs of vulnerable populations, namely infants and their families. The announcement that the FDA will begin a nutrient review process, alongside increased testing for contaminants like heavy metals, marks a pivotal commitment to this historically marginalized group. Critically, while Secretary Kennedy asserts that the FDA will leverage all resources available to ensure safety, the experiences of many marginalized families raise questions about whether the elite decision-makers fully grasp the challenges these families face daily. This pattern recalls that of the early 21st century when corporate interests often overshadowed public health imperatives, leading to compromised health outcomes. Paradoxically, the recent governmental assurances clash starkly with the lived realities of families who have often faced empty shelves and unsafe products. As HHS Secretary Kennedy states, helping each family and child get off to the right start from birth is critical to our pursuit to make America healthy again. But one must ponder, what does this commitment truly entail for families grappling with a lack of access to safe infant nutrition? Are we genuinely prepared to ensure that these resources translate into tangible benefits for every family? To emphasize this commitment, Acting FDA Commissioner Sarah Brenner describes the agency's efforts as ensuring that formula-fed infants receive nutrients essential to promote health and well-being. This assertion, while noble, stands in sharp contrast with the facts. Recent studies have illuminated concerning levels of harmful ingredients in many widely available formulas, leading to serious health implications. Moreover, the FDA's commitment to transparency hinges on the cooperation of private companies, an expectation that often leads to ambivalence among profit-driven entities. The agency suggests that companies will be encouraged to clarify labeling and nutrient content, yet there is an inherent skepticism about whether profit motives will outweigh the commitment to safety. Therefore, we must ask ourselves, how can we ensure that corporations prioritize child safety over their bottom lines? Could the FDA's promised actions become yet another round of empty assurances? To further strengthen this framework, the FDA has pledged to collaborate with the National Institutes of Health to address scientific research gaps concerning long-term health outcomes associated with infant formula. However, as we look toward the future, can we trust that bureaucratic expansions will lead to substantive changes, or will they merely serve to reinforce existing power structures? In light of historical parallels, such as the regulatory failures leading up to the nutritional crises of the late 20th century, it becomes imminent that a shift towards a more equitable system is necessary. Ensuring the safety of our children and the integrity of infant nutrition is paramount, and it is essential that these commitments transcend the realm of rhetoric to cultivate a genuinely just and responsive approach. In my view, while the recent actions by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration under Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. may seem like a step toward ensuring the safety and quality of infant formula, they fail to address the deeper issues that underlie these initiatives. It is striking that in a country as wealthy as the United States, infant formula is relied upon as the sole source of nutrition for so many children, revealing the stark inequities within our healthcare system. Despite these promises, the root causes of the infant formula crisis, corporate interests, profit-driven industries, and unequal access to breastfeeding support, are left largely unchallenged. In the end, who truly benefits from this so-called commitment to infant health? Are we merely ensuring the continued dominance of an industry that profits off the vulnerabilities of parents, or are we building a healthier future for all children? Subscribit y Dale like para mantenert informado.